Hello and welcome everyone to Astrology Talk Forecast. I'm Mallory Key, a professional astrologer with the American Federation of Astrologers, and this is your April 2025 forecast to help inform, bring awareness, and clarify what is going on for April 2025. And I will also go over the eclipse for tomorrow, this last part of March. There is a next week class. The first Wednesday of each month is a offering for those of you who are interested in knowing where these aspects are occurring in your own natal chart. For those of you who have trouble seeing where the full moon, the new moon, and other Mars and Pluto, and even the Neptune going into Aries aspects, and as others as well. So, if you want to go over that, it's a fun time to chat and go over kind of some of the basics of astrology as well. So that's by a class next week offering a space for individuals to personalize the astrological aspects by seeing how celestial bodies are interacting with natal planets and house placements in one's birth chart. And that's 7 p.m. to 7:45 p.m. The first Wednesday of each month on Zoom, and that's Central Time, 7 p.m. Central Time on Zoom. And you can go to my website, MalloryKey.com, MalloryKeyAstrology.com, and click Astrology Talk and go to the one that is paid. It is $25 per person because you do get your birth chart and you have someone professionally telling you where these aspects are in place for you. Thank you for all on the Zoom call, and thank you Cosmic Connections in Nashville, Tennessee, and their staff, and my teacher, Mr. Thomas Parsons. He is a very highly professional astrologer. So here's the outline for tonight, and this is the introduction. We're reviewing the partial solar eclipse in Aries that will happen Saturday, which is tomorrow, and that the full moon in Libra, transits, new moon in Taurus, Mercury direct, Venus direct, Mars opposite Pluto for the third time, and Neptune in Aries. All right, so here's the partial solar eclipse. I want to go along, first of all, this is 2025 at the end of March, 2025. And sorry, I was looking at my calendar, and the sun is where we see the sun, the moon going in between the earth and the sun. So that means it looks like the moon is taking a chunk or a bite out of the sun. And it was very auspicious time for people who didn't understand the heavens and that calculation and that science. So it does look like something is eating up the sun. And a lot of kings and emperors would say, if you don't follow me, I'm going to make something happen and I'm going to take away the sun. And it would scare the people. And so that's when we put on the glasses and we see that shadow upon the earth. This is not a total eclipse. This is only a partial eclipse. All right. So that's when the earth, the moon is in between, and then the sun. So this happens on March 29th. Today, I'm recording this. I'm sorry, I was recording this on March 28th, even though it's the day after. This is the recording for the class that, or people who are on the forecast on the last Wednesday of each month at 7 p.m. to 7:20. So in that Central Time on Zoom, you're welcome to join the forecast at the first Wednesday of each month. I mean, the last Wednesday of each month, and the class is the first Wednesday. And the forecast is free the last Wednesday of each month. So, with no further ado, this is when the sun and the moon are joined in the heavens. It is at 9 degrees in numerology. That's kind of a completion number. And it's starting, kind of ending something to start a new cycle. It's also in Aries, which is a new beginning after we've been in the winter part, for the Northern Hemisphere. So spring begins, and this is when the sun ingresses into Aries is the first day of spring, or the first day that that sun goes into that new year of the zodiac wheel. Now, March 29th at 2025 at 5:57 a.m. Central Time, and that's 5:45 a.m. for my friends in Nashville. And this partial eclipse can be seen in Africa, Europe, Greenland, Iceland, and Northwest Russia. So just now, we won't be able to see it in the United States, but for those people in that area, they will see a partial, the moon going pretty close to almost covering the entire, not quite. It just covers up enough of where you can see it. So Aries, this is the god of war, action, assertion, combative, confrontive on a shadow side. It's also not afraid to pioneer new territory and start things new. Aries are they start fires. They get people excited about something. They are also people who are uh, can go for their dreams, their wishes and desires. And they also, on next level of Aries, is they help other people get excited about their own dreams and wishes and desires. A new moon is a time to plant seeds of intention. So this is a time where, the sun and moon come together in the heavens. You see them. That's why it's also called the dark moon when we aren't in an eclipse. And that's when people kind of went in. What do I want? What do I want to manifest? I have to, it's not safe to travel, when there's no electricity and lighting. It wasn't safe to travel during those dark moons or new moons. So it's time where people sort of settled a little bit, and then just notice the moon cycle in your own birth chart to know how that feels for you, where this placement of 9 degrees is, and what department of life is it in. So just a really quick thing, because I did this for the people in the class as well. The first house, if it's in your first house or second or all the way around to the 12th house, listen real closely. I'm only going to give you a snippet of what that house is about. First, your dreams, wishes, desires, what you want. Second house, your income, money, security, your possessions. Third house, communications. This is the way you self-express, your fifth chakra. Third house is also about short distance travel, so you want to watch your traveling if you're in that house, and also siblings. Now, that's the first quadrant of the wheel. The second quadrant is 4 through 6. Fourth is home, childhood, mother figure. It can be the nurturing parent, childhood, and what you think about childhood and memories. Fifth house is romance, it's children, and it's creativity. It's also reminding us to have fun. So any fun projects, creative endeavors with yourself or others. Sixth house, this is the service house to others. This is what you want to do to help people. This is the nurse, the midwife, the one that the hands-on healer, physician in that regard too. It's taking care of the self. All right, and the daily work routine and habits. 7, 8, and 9 is the third quadrant. 7 is about relationship, marriage, close business partners, family, those friends that are like your family friends, like sister brotherhood friends. Eighth house, other people's money, inheritance, and this is the house of transformation. It's a very deep house. It's also our secrets and things we keep, to ourselves. It's our guilt, our shame, and our fear as well. Ninth house is higher learning. This is, I call it the Library of Alexandria house, because you want to expand and explore and learn and experience new things. And it's long distance travel to abroad and experience other cultures as well. So it's a higher mind. 10, 11, 12. This is the last quadrant of the four. 10 is your well, 10, the MC is just beginning of the 10th house, which is your purpose and why you came here. 10th house is your job, your work, and what you do in the public eye. And it can also signify the dominant parent or the masculine, the male parent too, or the just dominant parent. 11th house is about social groups, social networking. This is your social friends. Am I teaching? Am I being a leader of a group? Am I giving a talk on a large platform? This is the humanitarian house of large groups and wants to fight for the underdog too. Justice for all people. 12th house, this is kind of going a little bit more detail here on all these, but 12th house comes to a close, is an ending. It's chapters coming to a close in your life. It's also karma and past life. It's also the subconscious. It's a little bit like the eighth house. Eighth house is more secrets that you hold dear that you don't share with others unless they earn that right. The 12th house takes some more counseling. It is the counseling house, to get help on counsel, psychiatrist, psychologist. And it's also a health axis too, a chronic health axis. And sixth house is also acute health. So 12th house is dealing with the sub part of ourselves that we have to have help to get to, or another, dream work or subliminal messaging or hypnosis. And it's also hidden agendas of other people. So I hope that helps you. If you find out where that 9 degrees of Aries falls in your own birth chart, and I'll be happy to help you with that. If you go to MalloryKeyAstrology.com, you can contact me for a free birth chart. All right, the new moon in Aries. The reason it's called the partial eclipse is because it's close to the nodal axis and it's in with 12-degree orb of that node. Okay, so it's of the nodal axis. So this is the south node in Virgo, the north node in Pisces, which is the Pisces is more spiritual, right brain, ethereal. The Virgo south node, where it is now, is more tangible, more grappling with earth energy. It is earth, and it's more hands-on healing, whereas the Pisces is more spiritual healing. So that's where you'll see that nodal axis not too far away. It could fall into a different house, but that 27 degrees is where the nodal axis is now in those two signs. If you see the lineup where everything is with this solar eclipse, and you'll notice that Mercury's in Aries, Moon, Sun, of course, and then so is 22 degrees of Chiron. Chiron is the centaur, half horse, half man, just like Sagittarius. And Chiron is the wounded healer. And it's interesting, it's at 22 during the time of this eclipse. So we also have the Saturn conjunct the North Node and Venus conjunct the North Node, as well as Neptune. They're all right on top of that, you know. So there's something about where are we going on a spiritual journey? Where are we elevating ourselves to the spiritual mind? What are we wanting to heal so that we can go into that more freeing spiritual realm of that? Um, I guess it's more of a guide. It's also kind of a higher mind in a way. It's just the arts, it's the music, drama, film, theater, creativity knows no boundaries. And the opposite, which is all opposing the South Node where we've been, that's the global where we've been, where we've done that type of energy moving into the more water sign of Pisces. So it's opposing the South Node. All of this energy during the eclipse is opposing this where we've been as a civilization also. So it's time to move into the spirituality and ascend above the three-dimensional thinking, you know, kind of a non-linear thinking too. So we also have a sextile with this is Uranus here in Taurus, and Taurus is about money, security, grounding. It's the bull, so it doesn't move unless it knows where it's going, and it kind of chews on that grass until it really understands and knows where it wants to go next. It's not going to be apt to move spontaneously unless it sees a reason why usually. So it has a nice, beautiful sextile to Saturn. So they're having a conversation. You know, Saturn is grounding and it is an earth sign. It rules like earth sign Capricorn. So Saturn is about structure, stability. It is about foundation and then being integrity and it's the responsible planet. It wants you to make sure you have all your ducks in a row and you're in alignment with yourself and your integrity. So there could be a positive structure here, positive change of government, something, you know, because Saturn is about government, banking. Taurus is also about money. So, and Uranus is also crypto. It's technology. So it could be something with the cryptocurrency as well here. We might get information on that. So we also have this square with Mars to Chiron. That is a 90-degree angle. There could be some tension and frustration, you know, about our wound, or maybe there's a wound being created since both of those are really at 22 degrees. So just be aware of the energy. It's intense, it's asserting, it's combative and confrontive on the shadow. So on the highways, just do not let them pass you, get away from, slow down if you need to, or go around. But just, it's not the best time to confront unless you need to. And you're not, you know, asked to be a doormat. And yet this is really intense energy. It might be wait to not be that doormat, you know, if somebody's doing that, maybe wait, you know, till this energy passes, unless you are called and need to stand up. If you need to stand up, then by all means, you'll have the energy to do so. Just know it can be volatile, okay? Because that's, you know, Aries is guns, police, big cities, and because Mars rules Aries. All right, so let's go on to the full moon. So just manifest tomorrow, Saturday, you know, early in the morning, okay? This full moon in Libra is when the sun and the moon are opposing one another, and that's the earth in the middle. So here is and you notice the nodal axis is much further apart. It's not within a 12-degree orb. The moon is in Libra, the sun is in Aries. So we're not leaving that Aries energy. Now we're trying to balance this because the moon and air sign of Libra is about balance, harmony, it's ruled by Venus, so it wants to be love, beauty, and relational with people. It wants to have that balance and harmony in relationships as well. So notice any triggers in your chart with relationships. I know Venus is going still in a retrograde motion, and so is Mercury. There may be some, cabacles with communication still and also relational issues because that Venus retrograde, if you meet somebody with Venus retrograde, just know that that's a possibility it couldn't last. Okay, so don't get your hopes up if you met somebody for the first time with Libra in retrograde. But this is Libra is ruled by Venus. I mean, I'm sorry, Venus retrograde if I said Libra. So this is communicative, talking, wanting to, speak, be with another person in a very harmonious way. Now, Aries is more, wants what it wants. So that's that energy we just talked about. So here's the lineup for April 12th, 2025, where the 7:20 p.m. Central Time, adjust for your time zone. For the actual full moon, it's at 7:08 for my friends in Nashville. And you'll need to understand not every city is on the Central Standard Line of that longitude line. You have to adjust the minutes according to when that moon will actually cross over your city. And, you have to understand how to calculate that. But otherwise, just you can take the generalization of it. We all look at the lineup in Pisces still, Venus retrograde, Saturn. They're conjunct during this full moon, and that's a pretty interesting. Venus and Saturn have been having a conversation. Maybe Saturn's trying to help Venus, have what she wants and feel that security and foundation and structure to be secure and have what she needs. That North Node again is there, and then we have Mercury is now in a direct motion. We'll talk about the moment that he went direct and also when Venus is going to go direct, all in April. Okay, so let's see if there's all right. We have the other thing I want you to be aware of too this month, that Mars opposing Pluto. That's a really big point there. So just notice what happened when we talk about that the last times that it opposed, those were in opposition. Okay, so I noticed when I was making this that there were so many transits. I'm talking about the moon transits and what was happening around that time. But April 21st, and give or take the week before, the few days before and a few days after, it showed up as a pretty big moment. And it kind of goes with what we just talked about. But this is on April 21st, and the full moon was on April 12th. So it is a few days after that. And this is on a Monday for us here in America. So, we still have that. Now Venus is going direct, Saturn is direct. Venus will catch up to Saturn because so it's going to go back over Saturn as it was retrograding on the back end of Saturn. So now both these planets are moving forward. She will cross over. Mercury is now moving forward at 4 degrees, and we have now Neptune in Aries. So Neptune is a water sign, and we'll talk a little bit more about it when I focus just on him. But this is a very interesting time because we have water hitting fire sign. This is the element of water hitting the element of fire. I mean, that's sizzling, that is steam, that is like, that's the water geysers coming out, from volcanic underneath this ocean. And Neptune is salt water. So I'm curious what kinds of things we're going to be having. This is also a very right brain hitting more of a left kind of brain of the Aries. So right brain Neptune is is the ruler of Pisces. And so now we have this dreamy, no boundaries, kind of wanting to flow with it, hitting a very assertive, very powerful, courageous, wanting to launch, and go start fires, so this is going to be an interesting dynamic. And the last time that happened, I think it was in 1861. So the sun will be in Taurus at that moment. And here we go. We're getting really closer now to this Mars in direct motion to that Pluto, and that, and the moon will have passed over that, Pluto. So moon is the people, Pluto is transformation and god of the underworld, secrets, hidden things, the moon shining a light on things of the underworld. So what can we see and be what will be revealed around the 20th and 21st? So, and then especially with this Mars. All right, so I think we got most of that. There's a Sun square Pluto that's going to be hitting there. We have Mars trine Mercury, which that's an interesting thing. Mars making Mercury more vocal, making Mercury possibly more assertive, not going to put up with anything and say what it wants. And Mars is also square to the sun. So I just felt like this was worth noting, and Saturn opposing the South Node, of course, and conjunct the North Node. So I just think this Mars square Sun, Mars trine Neptune, Mars trine Mercury, Mars opposed Pluto, and Sun square Pluto. I just feel like, I mean, we still had this beautiful sextile, because it's already mentioned, I didn't put it, but that, now it's sextiling Venus and uh, Saturn and the North Node. So there is some positive change here because this is, Uranus is sun change out of the blue. Didn't see coming. Electricity, electronics. This is like any kind of technology or space travel and also airplanes. So just this would be great to notice where this pack of energy is in your own chart and where Mars opposed Pluto is in your chart as well and where Uranus is. So let's go on to the new moon in Taurus. New moon in Taurus, this is that Venetian kind of thing. This is when, we're talking about, Saturday, tomorrow, this is the eclipse, but then a month later, we're going to have a new moon in Taurus instead of in Aries. So this happens on April 27th, toward the end of April, of course, because we just had having the new moon at the end of March. So on the 27th at 2:31 p.m. Central Time, 2:19 for our friends in Nashville, and Taurus, grounding, as I said, sensual. It's loving. It's more of the more sensual of the earth signs. It's not um, kind of the achiever is Capricorn, and then more analytical thinking and perfection in a beautiful way. That Virgo, this is more like I'm just kind of going with the flow, but I'm staying right here in my lane. I'm going to stay in my pasture and, enjoy the pleasant grass and the trees and the birds and just be in my own zone. So, but they're very Taurus. I love Taurus because it's such a sturdy, sensual, reliable, loves beauty, loves to spend money, it needs to have a lot of money so it can enjoy the ambiance, enjoy the pleasures and nicer things in life, even from the clothes, having that nice cotton shirt instead of anything that's not sensual to the skin. So, this is at 7 degrees again. So you want to see where 7 degrees falls in your chart of Taurus and what house placement that is for you personally. So that's another moment where you start, if you didn't see any manifestation of what you wrote or what you spoke for the new moon at the eclipse, where something might be eclipsed, then this is time to either re-energetic or curtail, if you need to change it or tweak it. But this is a time to plant seeds of intention. I need a new car. I want a relationship. I want more money at work. And this will be a great time to ask, possibly for more money because that's a Venetian sign and, Venus rules money. So, and wants you to have that security. So, you know, this is a wonderful time to ground yourself and speak forth and then bury, a lot of times people say to bury your intentions if it's in an earth sign, you burn it when it's in a fire sign, you put it in holy water or blessed water in Pisces, and then what's the other one? Air sign. It could be burning it and then let the ashes go into the wind. It's up to you how you're called to do that. So that's going to be that 2:31, 2:19 for us here. All right, this is the lineup during that new moon in Taurus, and just notice the energy. It's starting to get a little waning. Mercury's moving along, Chiron's moving along. And here's the thing, we're going to come back to this. This is still in orb, but Mars already went over Pluto. So I'm going to be curious what happens before April 27th that week or the day that Mars is absolutely right at the peak of 3 degrees with Pluto. So y'all, I think this is going to be fascinating. I'm just, be on your, be aware. And also, going in is what's important. I think that there was Edgar Casey said, even the Christ consciousness, which is available to us all at any moment in time of love, it's love, harmony, peace, joy. It's a harmonious energy that we can tap into. And a lot of he mentioned that even the Jesus coming is when we go into our own to tap into that Christ consciousness to know that there is that available and we can live accordingly. And if you tap into it, other people can maybe see, what are you doing? I want to follow, not follow you, but that gives them the opportunity to know there's something else available. But it's an inward journey. Okay. All right, so Mercury direct. When do we out of Mercury retrograde? So Mercury direct is April 7th. Okay, so I kind of the time I'm not going down a straight timeline here just to give you an idea of big events, but this is a big one. It's April 7th, earlier in April, and that's at 6:07 a.m. Central Time. Now there's a shadow period, so Mercury's got to is kind of slowing down to go back forward. So that time period of where it's slowed down to stop to where it appears to be stopping, it's not really, to move in a degree point where it's going forward in our perspective. It's about our perspective of these planets from Earth to that planet in alignment with the sun. So it's going to be next to Venus. So 25, Venus is still retrograde. Mercury passed over Venus, and Mercury travels faster than Venus, so she's not gonna catch up with Mercury when she goes direct. But this is beginning of April, and then she's more than 13th or 14th, mid-April. So we also had this lovely trine to Mars with these two. So Mars is in a water sign of Cancer at 25, Venus is at 25, and Mercury's at 26. So they're in a lovely conversation together to help take action in a good way. Venus, I'm going to take action to keep my relationships, or work with the relationship, say what I need to say in a loving way and do what's good and to take care of me. Mercury's like, I'm going to say what needs to be said, write documents, contracts, but just know that if you do that, you're still kind of in that orb of Mercury retrograde. So just if you do sign something or buy something during Mercury retrograde, doesn't mean don't do it. It just means you need to definitely look at the small print. Go inside and make sure, do I really need this right now? Or am I being impulsive? Can I wait? Is it something a trigger jerk knee reaction, or is uh, it gets you to look in to see what is a priority for me. And also notice that I also, at this time where Mercury goes direct, the moon and the sun are at a lovely trine. In fire, it's dynamic, it's passionate, it's bold, it wants to go for what it wants, and also, have fun and enjoy and create, because that's the Leo is the leader, but it's also a creative sign. So I just thought that was very interesting. Okay, so Mercury, let's see, make sure uh, it went retrograde March 15th, and so now it's going direct. So that's what that is about. And now we're going to talk about Venus direct. Venus, love, beauty, goddess of love and beauty. Here she is. This is when she's now direct on April 12th. So it's like the 12th going into the 13th. She is stationing direct on the 12th, and that is a moment where she's about relationships, as we've said. She rules Taurus and Libra. She wants to have security, but she wants to have relational. She likes to be in partnership with people. So she's in that water sign of Pisces. She doesn't mind being in Pisces. That's a very, loving, unconditional loving sign. So she can vibe with that. So 24 degrees of Pisces. And she went retrograde March 1st, um, and that's at 6:36 p.m. at 10 degrees of Aries. So she will move back into Aries once she finishes this time in there. So just know it's not quite out of the way yet. If you meet somebody, just, this could be it can be a long-term thing. I just have heard, that if you meet someone or someone comes into your life that you've known even, it might not be the long enduring one. So just listen to your inner guidance and listen to your heart. Okay, that's the lineup with everything. I'm going to keep on going here. And Mars enters Leo. I think this is an important thing to note. Mars enters Leo on April 17th, and that's when we want to see that line up with that Pluto. So it's 11:20 p.m. Mars enters Leo for the second time. Okay, so here's the Mars, and here is the Aquarian placement for Pluto. All right, so when Mars is going to be pretty close in orb, so this is the third time. The first time Mars went to oppose Pluto was October 31st. Second time was November 3rd. Both of those in 2024. Now April 25th, because it had that long retrograde, it's back in orb to oppose Pluto. So now there's something these two have in common because Mars used to be the ancient ruler of Pluto, and Pluto is the modern ruler um, of Scorpio, excuse me, of Scorpio. So, I'm not saying that correctly. Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio, and Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio. So, but I don't like, I say modern really kind of was sketchy because they knew about Pluto, I think, more than we, long ago, more than we realized. So, uh, in history. So these two kind of can be very, very powerful as in opposition. Mars is god of war. Pluto is power, manipulation. It's the shadow side of Pluto is secrets. It's not like the 12th house where it's a little different. It's more money, other people's money. Mars is combative, confrontive, police, guns, all that. So on the shadow side, these two could really whop it. And just notice what happened on November 3rd. That's around the elections in the United States. And October 31st, there were things going on overseas. So just be noticing that we are coming upon it again. The positive part of these two, if it was harnessed and if we were aware and could harness this energy, we can move forward. We can be who we are. We could be honoring the dignity of people. We don't have to, control or put power over. That's what this Aquarian energy is about. It's more of the collective being in one and unity. It's the humanitarian, and Leo is the leader, the sun, the supreme power. So we could use this in a beautiful way. However, it depends on our consciousness level and the civilization, how we harness that energy. So just be aware of this time period, around April 25th, and a few days before and a few days after. Okay, and then here's the other aspects, just if you want to take a snapshot of that or screenshot, that's what's happening with the other planets there too. So, and I do see, Neptune has been in trine with Mars and it's sextile it's going to go its way to sextile Pluto. That will be a little while. So we also have the Saturn and Neptune. We're going to start seeing a Saturn Neptune rendezvous. So just that's going to be happening later. But they kind of come close, but then not quite. So Mars went direct in Cancer February 23rd. Just wanted to recap that. And here's the Neptune in Aries. Neptune ingresses into Aries ingresses into Aries March 30th. So this is like, after the eclipse. Well, this is just a big time. And I would I think every time I look and see how can I cope with this, how can I handle this, it's looking in, it's meditating, it's taking care of yourself, it's going out and grounding, it's being with people of like mind who support you and on your journey and your path. And know it's okay to be where you are, okay? And if your friends can't handle where you are, you have to love them and not acquiesce to where they are. You've got to go in and be where you are and love them. If they catch up with you, great. If they don't, you just love them, from where you go. And but it doesn't mean stop your journey. because other people might not feel comfortable with your journey. So the last time Neptune was in Aries, excuse me, in Aries, was March 30th, 2025. It was in 1861. So from today, March 30th, 2025, the last time it was at this point was in 1861. So that's right after the Civil War in our country and trying to, get out of that shock and rebuild. And Saturn will ingress into Aries May 24th, 2025. Saturn and Neptune will have a close conjunction again July 13th, 2025 in the summer. So there's more to come, and this is a very, interesting time when these two are together, Saturn and Neptune, and we have that North Node telling us to move forward in our spiritual journey. All right, so I think that's about what I mentioned. Conjunctions of the North Node, Saturn and the Moon. Yeah, we've talked about that as well. So thank you for being part of this and watching. And if you have any questions or if you'd like to know where this occurs in your birth chart, you can have a reading with me. There can be 20-minute readings all the way up to an hour to 80 minutes, which is a full year reading out with information given to you. And so I'm here to help and support people who want to learn astrology with classes. And here's your astrology guide to tell you and share with you what I know, my journey so far with the language of the stars and astrology. So thank you so much. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.